It's incoming, we'll get started with the plan. Welcome. Topics.
They spent lots and lots of time and years together. Something. So, 5 years. Finances and budget. I think if people knew just how, it is to, not fiscal, be scared, but most people just keep going, thinking everything's always gonna turn around and come back the way it's always been, and it's just a cycle and it'll all be okay, so. But we weren't raised that way, so we know a little bit better than that, and nobody except God is too big to fail. Nobody. Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, close public comments. Go to discuss and approve the regular minutes from 9/29 of 25.
So moved.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve those minutes. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Engineer. Morning.
Morning.
Well, we're working here at 260th NC Avenue, working on some ditch digging in that area. Iowa Bridge and Culvert, save rock, shape the shoulders. We're waiting for pavement and gravel shoulder work and guardrail to have this fully opened up. That should, I think they were planning on paving it today, but, so they'll pave it sometime this week, and then, the gravel shoulders and guardrail will all be within the next week or two, so. PCI out there on S Avenue, they've got placed all the piling, so the next couple weeks they'll be getting the deck formed up and getting that all, going. The Golden Place for E66, that's all finished up. The Manette schedule right now, they're going to tear out the concrete section of road that we're going to go, will be east of that for the main Salt Creek Bridge. So we'll start tearing that section out next Monday. And then, let's see, we've purchased a loader to help with salt and sand, and then dirt at Garwin Shed. I was kind of, right now we had trucks that went to, Gladbrook, from Gladbrook to Traer, to pick up salt and sand. So having a loader close by for the Garwin Shed to stockpile will be beneficial. So. And then got interviews set up. Probably Mark and Kurt, I'll probably send you guys an email after the meeting here for the bridge crew labor position. We've got 2 candidates, so we'll be interviewing those on Wednesday afternoon. So. And then our bridge crew lead, he's leaving us, and so we'll have to guys figure out how we want to handle that, because we have one licensed crane operator. He's currently one of our excavator operators, but we'll have to, I guess, figure out how we're going to restructure or whatnot. I guess we're gonna talk a little bit about that today, so. And then, I think things we got going on. That's all I got. Guess we can talk about the equipment plan. You guys have any other comments or whatnot on other stuff?
Just as a follow-up on, the stop sign from last time.
Yeah, I guess I didn't get that on the agenda. I'll have that on the agenda for next week. And then the road.
So like, to approve it. Or-
Yeah, well, I'll have to put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay, so we can discuss it if you want to.
Okay. All right.
Kendall's here, so I didn't know if he could maybe fill us in.
Yeah, so, the city's had a few requests to have a stop sign placed out there. As you know, the city limits are on just the west side of K Avenue South off of 310th and where Ross Street 310th meet. There is an in-home daycare right there. And I don't know if she's the one requesting it or not, but they've had numerous requests from other people on the road as well, just because their traffic's coming in too fast. There is a reduced speed sign ahead, clear out by K Avenue and 310th, where K Avenue goes north. And the speed limit sign is 25 mile an hour when you get right to the edge of the city limits. But evidently, the residents are still upset because they're coming in too hot. So they're asking for a speed limit sign, or a stop sign right at that intersection. That intersection already stops coming from K Avenue coming up to 310th, it already stops. That's the most logical place to put it. Otherwise, the city could, without requesting anything, just put it in the city limits another 100 feet. Which doesn't protect the daycare as much, but it's a little less convenient place. Plus, all the kids that go to that old football field, they use that as a sledding hill. So they line up right on K Avenue when it snows to slide down that hill.
I talked to Brian on Friday. And, I still wanna talk to Lacey. It's Miss Lacey's preschool. I assume that one. Okay. I'd still like to talk to her, and then it's gonna be on the agenda next week.
Yes, correct. It'll be on that agenda.
The one question I had though is, have we had any, selective enforcement from?
Yeah, so they have stepped up patrol out there. They can't be out there all the time.
True, but issue a bunch of tickets and word will get around to start slowing them down too, but.
Yeah, they stepped up patrol, they stepped up, make sure it's out there for patrolling more.
And I know the sheriff's got their 35 mile an hour, little unattended radar thing out on K Avenue, north of Karen's place. I drove past her place a couple of times. I drove the whole length of K Avenue just to see what it's like, so.
It has pretty blue and red lights.
How do you know that?
I don't know.
You should know that.
That daycare, where's their fence at? They want to throw this on us, residents that's lived out there for 65 years. Where's their fence at? I wouldn't take a kid there with no fence. This is a direct shot to right on the highway. And they want us to stop because they don't want to spend money for a fence?
It's not a direct shot, there's two other stop signs you have to stop on.
No, I'm talking from her yard. If you look, they can walk right out on the road.
Yeah, but you said it's a direct stop, there's not.
No,
Direct-
shot, not stop.
It's not a direct shot, you have to stop 2 more times before you get 63.
Some of the kids.
Once at 63 and once at.
I'm talking to kids in daycare. They can walk right out on the street. There's no fence to stop them.
That's true.
It's not safe, in my opinion, and now you want that's never had a stop sign in the history that I know. Because somebody complained in town,
Like I said, they can move in 150 feet and still put a stop sign on. There's nothing to do about it.
Keep driving the people away from this town, that's
Where
all.
would the 150 feet coming in be?
We're gonna direct our conversation back to Ben.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Alright, move on from that and the.
The equipment replacement.
Okay, yeah. Alright, so I have kind of 3 sheets there for you. One is kind of like a detailed overview of each kind of piece of equipment, and then I got, kind of I guess, the dollar amount and kind of just what each year the kind of an amount that will be needing to have. And then the third sheet is just kind of equipment that we're needing to get rid of or sell that we're not using at the moment. So I guess kind of average budget year. I did it till all the way to fiscal year 36. Was looking at roughly 1.2 million per year for equipment. That's, you know, motor graders, our tandem trucks, our excavators. So I don't know, and then all the pickups that we have, but trying to get more of a routine for our motor graders, so we're not just like this past, I guess, November kind of time frame, had a motor grader go down, and we had to kind of make do with what we had. So, and then well, that was the 20-year-old John Deere. Yeah, I mean we have, you know, 20-year-old pieces of equipment that are, you know, being our mainline equipment. So, but we need to have a better rotation on things to, you know, if we also had one of our cats early in the spring, so not trying to throw one or the other under the bus, but it's just when we get these machines up in age, you know, 8 to 10 years, then we're looking at lots of money because we don't have our what do we call it? Like warranty.
Yeah.
The warranty goes out after, you know, 7 to 8 years. So after that, we're putting the bill on major things. So.
What's the amount of years and hours for motor graders that you're looking to start replacing each one on?
It'd be roughly around 8 to 10 years. Be around about 10,000 hours, so roughly 1,000 hours a year. That could be more or less depending on winter and whatnot. So just kind of doing a rough.
Is that a good price break, or have you talked with other counties too, or other engineers? Is that a good resale value versus buying and warranty and all that?
I mean, right now our resale value on all our motor graders we've had, there's like 20 or 30. You know, we're pretty much down to nobody really wants it anymore. You know, we're not getting all that much money back for ourselves that way, so it's we trade them in, but we're not getting the value. So that's where.
And that's like the 20-year-old ones you're saying though, or is
yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
That's where,
If you're looking at 8 to 10, you're looking at
yeah,
substantial amount.
yeah. 100 at least. So where we're not spending a whole, you know, $400,000 on a motor grader and only get, you know, 20 for the rest of it.
Have you built into this, looking at, you know, you may have a motor grader that's got more miles on it, more hours on it. Are you looking at rotating them around the county so that we get the most hours out of them before we have to replace them? Same thing with your pickups. I mean, we're talking 20 years on pickup. I've got one that's like 24 years old, it's a piece of junk, but it runs.
Yeah. I mean,
I think you can repair it.
so,
But I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
food for thought, I asked the same thing on the team in the city.
Well, it's always a balance too of like, you get warranty on a new one, or if you buy an older one and you put an engine in it, you know, or a transmission, you know, what's your better bang for your buck? You could do a little trial and error there too, you know? Sometimes those older ones are good machines versus
Yeah.
the new too.
I think on a couple of them that we have, we're planning on using those that, I think, let's see. Let's see, where's that? It'd be, 323 and 328. Those are ones that are 2006 cats that once we replace those with new, those would be kind of moving down in our fleet, replacing ones that are, you know, got 1996 cat and 1995. So, you know, try to, those spares that we have that we use for snow, we're, you know, kind of going up a little bit and kind of helping our spare equipment that way as well, so.
I think from day one, even back when Bob was around, I think pickups were just kind of sacrificed. I mean, we ran them to the ground, till they were in the ground, you know, rusted out and everything, and we get what we can get out of them, but with Bob.
You used to buy a bunch of them from the state.
Yeah, yeah,
At a discount.
yeah. Was he 5 years on trucks back then? Tandems? Bob had a one he stuck to, man. It was like every 5, or was it 8 years on the tandems?
It was more recent than the rest of the equipment.
Yeah, yeah. And that way, then we could get those old ones into the spare, and to get rid of the spares when they have a little bit more value. Most of those are pretty running around too by the time we get rid of them. But it's a tough gig because they're always rust on our stuff. I think a lot of salt. Yeah.
You get rough use when you use it as a salt and dry them all year long.
Yeah, and it's a proven fact that when it goes into spare mode, they don't get taken care of near as well as when one person's taking care of his truck.
One person's assigned to the machine.
More people assigned
Just
to
like
it.
a motor grader, same way.
Yeah,
You got multiple
he'll do it.
operators.
He'll change the oil. I'm not gonna do it. He will, you know, and it just
For many hours.
many hours. Yeah. But I don't know if there's a right answer or.
I know in the police world, the sergeant's cars lasted longer than the patrol. Because the hot seat in the patrol cars, they get beat to a pulp.
Well, I'm sure the
It's not
sheriff's
mine, I don't
car
care.
lasts a lot longer because it's not driven. Oh, did you see it?
Okay.
Could we get together this week sometime?
Yeah.
Whenever?
It's a rainy day.
Rainy day.
Yeah, we'll go for a couple days, so we'll get up with you.
Okay. Okay. So you guys let me know, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. I think, guess that on the agenda for just this staffing stuff, so I guess I'll stick around for that.
Alrighty. Do we need to take any action on this? Do you guys,
Are you good?
I assume when you guys meet, you'll go over it
Well,
and
yeah.
kind of put together some kind of, there's two different competing philosophies. You keep them until you run them into the ground and
Yes.
get all the good out of them, you know, then you have a little bit more liability, or do you start some transition, you know, and if that's the case, then some of these numbers need to be modified. Or trading here and that, this is, it's over on it, and then just bring it back.
Yeah, I don't think there's any action on it. We'll talk through it a little bit more. Bring it back.
Yeah, eventually it'd be nice to have have something that we accept that's what we're going to implement moving forward.
Yep.
Done by last, we need that, yeah.
Yes.
I guess, do you see anything that, like, this sheet here, I know it's really small, but
I can't
do you want something like that? Would that be kind of what we'd be looking to approve, or would you want more detailed, like the one here, that where each piece of equipment, or just kind of, here's what you're looking for?
I would think after the two Kurt's talk with you,
I would think we could just take this as a whole,
yeah,
these two together.
Okay, all right.
And then as normal, when budgets come, we're gonna wanna know the next year, what is every piece of equipment you're buying, what's it gonna cost, every see come, me, like, yeah, he already put that in his budget, it's not something new.
Yes, that's the intent behind it, is just so that we know what equipment we have when we're budgeting, what might be coming up, and how much that's gonna be.
yeah.
Good.
If I lay it down. There it is. Okay, next. Discussion and possible action to reorganize management structure of the secondary roads department. This is something that we had asked Paul to do when we looked at the HR audit, is to look at all departments. A couple of things. One, I think that there's been a position that had been budgeted for and posted for assistant county engineer. I don't know if that's even still out on the website. I don't know what the update is on that.
Check it out.
It's, I don't know if we have it, what was the case with it, when we had a meeting here with Ben, I think there was a general consensus from the board that we would look at a different management structure going back to 2 road foremen. And we'll open it up for discussion and what that looks like, what the assistant foreman would look like and all that kind of stuff. I think the recommendation from Paul was that we post for the 2 and that would be the starting point. Everybody would have the opportunity to apply. And my opinion that the whole board, our full board, would interview all of the candidates together and form our own opinions rather than rely on the opinions of a couple of board members. I think that we can all then make our determination on what we want to do going forward. So that would be, just open it up for discussion.
I know with this bridge leaving, I highly doubt that we'll get another bridge leaving cut in, excuse me. And that's gonna be tough. So what does it look like going forward? I'm not sure. I mean, do we dissolve the bridge crew and do like other surrounding counties are doing and start on the lower end of a truck driver and then go forward? And then, so those guys are truck drivers starting in, and then they do the bridge cap replacements and stuff. They're like a general labor, they start at the bottom. I don't think we're gonna get a bridge crew lead for what the dollar amount to have a crane license and stuff, is they can go out and make a lot of money. So,
And then we could just hire like a crane
That's
operator
what a lot-
businesses to come, and that's what a lot, I've heard
that's
that
what a
too.
lot of the other counties hire a crane come in, and then like, for instance, these truck drivers or general labor guys, they will do the actual labor work of it, and then they just hire the crane to come in.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I've been thinking about is that excavator operator that has the crane license, well, you pull him away from digging. So then that's gonna sit, so what do? You put, you know, and I doubt he would move back to the lead bridge. I don't know, but I'm guessing probably not. But he's kept up his crane license at least, so.
Mhm.
How often do we need the crane?
Just depends what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if we're doing a couple bridges or whatnot, it's gonna be maybe 2-3 times in the summer that we're.
But then that's another factor, our crane's older, you know, it's, you know, it's not a hydraulic, it's a, you gotta push the brake, you gotta push the brake.
It's close.
The whole table and all that stuff, so it's kinda, you know, so do we replace that in hopes of getting a bridge crew lead and a crane operator, or, you know, what's that look like?
Yeah.
That's
Be
kind
nice
of
to see what it would cost, like ask, you know, quote out, like, this is what it would cost, Ben could say, this is the job we've done in the past, what would have that cost? Because it's a huge liability too, and only having one crane license operator, if they're busy and they're like, oh, hey, your other bridge crew guy, come get in here, you know, I mean, that's a huge liability insurance wise that we could
And then-
just get tanked as a county.
I have a friend up in Chickasaw County, and I've asked him a few questions and stuff back and forth, and they pour a lot of their bridge decks, they don't use wood anymore, just with house factor, it's a lot cheaper.
You don't use it anymore for decking.
We've done it, I mean, I think in the past few years I've been here, we've done some wood decking.
Really?
But that's where, I mean, some of the decks that we're replacing were wood, so
Yeah.
we're, kind of.
I think a lot got away from that. I mean, when I first started, we were still doing them, but boy, the last 10, 15 years, I don't think we did many at all. And I don't think we've ever hired, at least as long as I've been around, hired somebody off their street for that job. It's always somebody who moved up to it,
Right.
you know,
And I'm not opposed to contracting some things out because we don't do them that often. I mean, that goes back to the liability
Yeah.
issue. They carry their own insurance and so forth.
Yep, for 2 to 3 times a year,
Yeah.
plus we could sell the crane then, I don't know what that's worth.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of still deciding for some of that stuff. Mark and I talked about it down the agenda for today, just so we could discuss through it and have kind of an idea of going
Yeah.
forward, what this looks like.
Yeah, on the bridge crew, and one of the other things
That really kind of threw a wrench in it with him leaving, so.
Yeah.
That I'm kind of starting back over and working
Right.
back the other way now.
Thought you had it figured out now,
Yeah.
just again.
One of the things that was brought up is that we have guys coming in and starting on the bridge crew, and those are always the guys that are transferring out to
Right.
other jobs, like truck driver, you know, whatever else.
They're moving out.
They make more money on the, you know, on the other side, make more money to do less work and less technical work, and so
Yep.
in reality, that should kind of be more of a specialized thing that people are going to be wanting, because there's more money to be made, you know, so there's gotta be some restructuring there as well.
Well, and then like Power Sheet, the bridge crews at the top, they're paid the most. So,
Instead of just the entry level ones. And those are the guys you want to be doing things well, you know, 'cause
Right.
if they have that really good training, there's less chance for accidents and that kind of stuff as well.
And the bridges last longer.
Yeah, if you use concrete,
Yeah.
it's cheaper in the longer.
Yep. So you said 2 foremans, the assistant engineer's already been pulled down. There is a current assistant foreman. Is that, you guys looking at that going away then? Or would that stay? Just 2 foremen, no
Yep.
assistants?
No assistant.
Yep.
Yeah, it was to what it was before.
Yep, that's what it used to be. Cause they took it and they split it from 2 down to
Right.
1 main, 1 assistant, right?
And then looking at the map, you know, that's another thing I spent for, last Wednesday, I was in Iowa City, so I had some time. I was looking at the maps and stuff and trying to figure out which way the best way to split that in. There'll be a couple guys on each side. If we got 3 or 4 to get along and everything works like it should, it shouldn't be a problem.
Is there similarities? So you're saying like do east and west or north and south? Is it
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm looking at.
is there workload or similarities or
Well-
yeah, what would be the best, I wonder on?
Ideally, the best would be to split it so everybody, each foreman has the same amount of guys. You know, but I don't know that that's gonna work that way. You might have 1 more or 2 more on one
Right.
side of the end, just depending on how that split works. And I got that map, I'll show you. I'm gonna bring all that stuff for this week and go down there and kind of go through.
One of the issues was there was only one piece of equipment that they would, kind of the 2 foremen that didn't get along would be fighting over who was going to use that. So it we're going to try to split it to where
Right.
there's the excavator, everything on both sides.
On both sides, yeah.
So you don't have.
Back to the way it
that
used to be.
continues.
So that, kind of in a nutshell is where I'm at with that, right?
I guess I have a question regarding, so I have that bridge crew labor position that are we still on for that, or is that something I just go ahead and tell them? I guess, I mean, I'm kind of. It's a good question. Yeah.
Can you just leave it open a little longer and hold off on the interview, like just to let these guys figure it out, or?
Yeah, maybe you guys talk that over when you guys go.
But if you can do that before, that's Wednesday, right? So if you can meet today or tomorrow or talk through that with Ben.
I don't know where it would hurt to keep, to go ahead and hire one and.
Cause we still would need it for a laborer, like we just don't need the high up, is that where?
We hired, those guys have seals too, don't they?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if we ended up going a different way, it could transform into a different job, which isn't so bad. I mean, we need to help anyway, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe just explain that to them, that, you know, there may be some changes and make sure they're okay with that. Paul can maybe help guide that.
So is the bridge crew people, are they the lowest paid of your?
No, so I mean, we have utility one and utility two. Utility one is, I'd have to look at it, but it's, bridge crew labor, I think.
Can you go grab that?
Yeah. I think-
What I was getting at is, are they typically the lower paid end of the?
Yes, the utility worker two is like excavator operator, and I think
Motor
motor grader is the one. No,
one?
it used to be 5, then they went down to utility worker 1, 2, 3, and they combined them. And utility worker 1 is like motor grader, tandem truck driver, laborer, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, here.
I'm just reading.
So, utility worker 1 is labor, truck driver, single axle, tandem driver, right away maintenance worker 1, that's our brush crew, motor patrol, which is the motor grader, semi driver, construction type 1. And then.
Is this the one we're looking to hire?
Yeah, it'll be the labor full time.
So that's still on the lower end of the.
Yeah, but, then utility worker 1 is like our excavator, or sign type, construction type 2, big truck operator, which is. I have one more question. When you guys do the 2 foreman, will I be able to sit on the interviews?
You don't wear that hat.
Geez, huh?
Or,
Well, your other one's Iowa State, so.
We're 9:05, sorry. Yeah, we can table this and then just come back to it, if we wanna do action, unless anybody has a motion you wanna make real quick before we go into public.
Or table or postpone.
Well, we can bring it back this meeting, if we just table.
Okay, I'll make motion to table.
I'll second.
Been moved and second to table, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries, we'll bring it back after our public hearing. Sorry, lost track of time, we were having so much fun. It's 9:06, I need a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded to go into public hearing, I think we need a roll call for that.
Homer,
Aye.
Nibble, Roland,
Aye.
Tucker,
Aye.
Tama.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes, we are in public hearing. To update zoning ordinance fees in the Tama County zoning ordinance of July 7th, 1998. This is the first time they've been updated for a number of years. Laura's in the background. And has sent us out the new fee schedule and the, behind that. Anybody have any, we received any written correspondence from the public this week? Have you received anything, Laura? There's no further action on it, I guess.
You can just close the hearing and have our next one set up for this meeting.
Need a motion to go out of public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved, seconded to go out of public hearing. Another roll call.
Homer,
Aye.
Nibble,
Aye.
Roland,
Aye.
Tucker, and Turner.
Aye.
Okay, we're back in our public meeting. Since there's no action to take on that one, will you put on there to waive the meeting and to set the ordinance or set the fees on the next
Do you wanna,
agenda?
we take a motion then for that?
What's that?
We take a motion to leave the.
Yeah, we can do that. It's tied into the agenda, I think.
So do you want a motion to do both the second and third?
Or just to post it, as an agenda item, to move that as an agenda item for the next meeting.
So you're saying we need to keep our second one since we don't have it on the agenda?
Yeah.
So ultimately, as long as,
As long as we have the language on there
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
so I don't even know that we need a motion. She could just add that language to next week, that we can have the second, we'll waive the third since we didn't have any comments, and then we'll put it into effect, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, we could do it, you could do it either way.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not making a motion.
Okay. Discussion and possible action to set the date and time for a work session with Tama County Zoning Commission to review, make changes to recommended commercial solar ordinance. That was discussed last week. I think Heather and Laura were working on the time, October 16th.
Yep. I can make the motion to set it for October 16th, 6 PM in the Board of Supervisors room. It'll be a joint meeting between zoning and the Board of Supervisors on the solar ordinance.
6:30?
6 PM on the 16th.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. We'll set that date for October 16th at 6 o'clock for the joint work session with Tama County Board of Supervisors, Tama County Zoning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Discuss and act on appointment. David is asked if I would join the Region 6 for Economic Development Board, and that he would be removed from that one. Okay with doing that. When their next meeting is, we can get together and get that, but we just need official action, so that would be the rep, with voting rights and all that on the board.
I'll make a motion that we make that change.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries, I think. I haven't heard two people.
You guys vote?
I'll say aye, just to make sure.
Oh, sorry, I was.
They're all sleeping still.
I was concentrating. Aye.
It's a 2 to 3 abstentions.
Don't the abstentions actually work as a vote, yes?
Yeah.
Sorry, David, you stuck on.
No, that was an illegal rule. Okay, next supervisor updates by districts. However you guys wanna do it, we'll start.
Go down the line this way.
You call one idea, there's no one I had. This is the Board of Health, and, were you online last time? I was online for that one too. And with the week I've had, I think I don't know what we talked about, to be honest. It was pretty much normal stuff, nothing big, no big changes or anything on that deal. The annual meeting for the judicial, 6th district is coming up in later October. The Tama County Aging, I haven't been there, but we haven't had one since you went. That's about it for me.
For District 3, for their Workforce Development Board will remain separate until July 1st of 2026. But we have started merger steps with the Mississippi Valley Workforce Development, which is who we're merging with. So we actually had a 2-hour-long meeting. The new name will be Eastern Iowa Workforce Development. So Mississippi and South Central will combine together and be called Eastern Iowa. So we went through that, and we got the chief elected officials shared liability agreement put together. So that'll be on next week's agenda that you guys should have a copy of that. So go through that. It's kind of just how we want to set up. You know, we did things a little bit different than Mississippi Valley did. And so just different items about how to get in, how to get out, you know, just all the different clerical liability things. You know, there was an area where it went by how big areas were, and so just look through all that, and we can talk about it on next week's agenda.
Is that a 2080?
I'll have to look at it. It's just called like a shared liability agreement,
Okay.
But. And then DCAT, so decategorization is what DCAT stands for. The purpose of DCAT, again, is to redirect juvenile funding to services which are more preventative, family-centered, and community-based in order to reduce use of restrictive approaches that rely on institutional, out-of-home, and out-of-community care. So we're called the Newton Cluster, and it includes Jasper, Poweshiek, and Tama. So the child abuse data in 2025 for Tama County includes the following. The total intake was 349. Accepted reports was 217. 139 of those was child abuse assessments, 76 family assessments, and 2 child in need of assistance assessments. So for repeat maltreatment cases, which obviously you want the repeats to be lower, we had 25 repeat maltreatment and no repeat maltreatment cases, so that was a good trend there. Fiscal year 26, DCAT funded programs total $79,160. For Tama County, there's $11,000 approved for child abuse prevention for Meskwaki. I know there's other affiliates like CPPC that our Board of Health leverages that side of it. So for the Heartland Insurance Risk Pool, the Heartland Fall Seminar was done in September, so I know we had a few people that were able to attend that. We were able to have the IPIB training, so the last legislation has a new way to do where any newly elected or appointed official has to have training on record keeping, how to facilitate meetings and such. So this is required going forward, so I know Board of Adjustment and Zoning had some new members, so they are getting their training in right before the Board of Adjustment hearing coming up. So that'll be good. So there'll be some action taken while you're in there. Harassment training was completed training done is required, for us as well. So there's gonna be an online option available coming, so just make sure everybody takes that. And then economic development, the University of Northern Iowa Institute for Decision Making is going to be presenting on understanding strategic economic development in Tama County, in this month here. And so it's gonna be for elected officials and business leaders. If you are interested, get a hold of Mark or I. We wanna look at a way to redevelop and get economic development, set up, but, you know, figure out what's the best way to go about it, and for Tama County specifically. So excited to work with you and I to go through that strategic planning and figure out what's our best way. We all benefit from economic development. It's tax money coming in, which helps go into our budget. So, I think it's something we need to all work together for all the diverse county, but it's important for all of us. So that's where we're at there.
Okay. I think, just start off with, I attended I don't know the name of the agency, but it's, Tama County Aging, Commission or something like that. I asked for it. Took some notes and sent it over to Kurt, and, I had questions about what was the mission, and I think that it's kind of been cast to the wayside. They don't really know what their mission is, because during COVID, I think some things had changed, and so they were doing things much different. They have a pretty good balance in their account, and they were looking at ways to get that out to basically just be a support for people who are aging, and just that are there. And a lot of the things that they were doing was mostly benefiting and then impacting different sections. So they're looking at ways to diversify that and finding ways to support other activities that are going on in the community. There is a community meal every Thursday night, I think, in Tama, that is being put on by another organization. Like it cost, and to see if that was an option for people to use that transportation, for getting to that meal and to other meal sites, to see what their options were. And so that was a good meeting. I sent all that over to Kurt, and they don't, I don't know how often they meet, but 1 month. So we ended up again. As far as the mental health component, I attended a meeting. It was a regional meeting or district-wide meeting for mental health. I had some follow-up questions. Most of the biggest topic was the emergency crisis response. Right now, the state has a contract with different providers for crisis stabilization through the 988 telephone number. Anybody who's in mental health crisis can call them, and that gets filtered out. However, the counties are not having a lot of, and this goes back to regions. It's not just in the district. We're not having a lot of success with that model. By the time somebody gets there for the mental health crisis, it might be 3 to 5 hours later. And by then, the deputies have already handled it, and the person's probably at the hospital for an assessment. And so, Casey and I went up to Waterloo last month, and we looked at some crisis stabilization services that are already intact. One of the only crisis stabilization units for juveniles is in Waterloo, and they need to market more. They wanted to, they're real eager to show us what they had there. They also have an adult crisis stabilization center. They have a subacute unit. The difference between those, if somebody's in immediate crisis, they can stay for like 1 to 3 days. If you're in a subacute, you're not ready to go home from that crisis state. So you get 5 to 10 days in a subacute unit. They also have a juvenile detention center with 15 beds. I think it's pretty close to full most of the time. And so some good services there that we looked at and got some of our, do you have anything to add to the visit?
Nothing other than, it's nice to know we have a lot of options. Yes. Yes, sir.
One of the things that was a question before we went up there is, what does the process look like to bring them there? The director, Sam, I've been up there a couple of times and visited Sam, and Sam said,
Just addressing some stuff with Ben, spent a little time with him last week, looked at some roads, took a little drive. They're working up on C Avenue, that all looks really good up there, they're doing a good job, so. That's about all I have. I missed my landfill meeting last week, or last month due to the forum at the State Bank of Toledo, so I don't have much, nothing there yet. But that's this week, Thursday, so. That's about all I got.
I'll try and be brief. Mark and I had negotiated that development agreement for Salt Creek Wind 2 versus having to do a settlement agreement. That's more to come on that later this month. I physically helped them install the 1 gig connection to the A building. Moved that unused printer out of the sheriff's auxiliary building. It cost us $18,000 to turn it in, that one in, and the one the sheriff's using, so they're both being used now. And we're printing all the documents that you use in this room on that printer over there, so we keep track of how much paper the supervisors are using. Attended the Central Iowa Juvenile Detention Center meeting. Been waiting on an official notification on the action that was taken, but it was posted on Facebook by the former director. Tony Reed was let go, and he's been there since day one, so it's been like, what, 30-some years?
31.
Anyway, so more to come on that. We have no one in the detention center as of now, unless you guys hauled somebody up there recently. So we should be getting no more charges unless we send another juvenile up there. And then Friday, we switched over from Windstream as our backup. The 500 meg service is come to this building. We put 1 gig into the courtroom, and then we're waiting to slowly transition the sheriff's stuff over because it will affect their mobile units. But basically, we've got the 1 gig as a primary source coming into Tama County from our end, with the 500 meg as the backup. So the way it's working in this building, we're staying on the 500, and we have virtual 1 gig on top of it. So if the 500 fails, 1 gig takes over. If the 1 gig fails, we still have the 500. So we should see very little interruption in our services. Then I talked with the mayor of Toledo, and in our discussions, we were talking about the roundabout, upcoming roundabout for this next year. And he said that in his discussions with DOT, and I don't know, you may have more information too, but they admitted they made an error in the change of the 4-lane in front of, that's Goodwill, Fairway, etc. It looks like they will probably run a 4-lane from the roundabout exit going north to the school.
South.
Yeah. We're gonna have a new school, no. Anyway, so yeah, going south, so that would eliminate that problem that there is right there at that one intersection. I made the comment that I think Quick Start needs to change their exit lane to the further lane only, not having the trucks come out. where they've been coming out. A lot of them come out because that's right where the roundabout's gonna end. So it would not make it's not a smart move there, but anyway, more to come on that. And then in one of my discussions going around for tonight's meeting, I talked to a lot of business leaders in Tama, the city, and had one discussion about the need for a hospital, and we talked about the jail, and the sheriff walked out, so he's not gonna hear this. But long range plans, I'm doing some global looking. I think we need a hospital here in Tama, the county. And there's a style hospital down in Texas that has an emergency room, a very small ICU, just a few beds, but sharing a wall with the jail, so the deputies don't have to do a whole bunch of transportation if somebody needs to go to the hospital. But I think we probably need a hospital with a helipad somewhere conveniently located in our county. Then, so that's something I will look at moving forward, and we can talk more about it after our meeting. So, anyway, that's all I got.
Okay. All right, need to do the claims then.
Okay. That's all I need. Claims this week seem to be one of the lowest ever. Prepared copy, 77, 274, period, 84. So $77,274.84. I make a motion we approve those.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the claims. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comments again? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, yep, let's go back to the one we tabled. Good. We better do that before public comments. So it was the, reorganization and management structure to Secretary of Roads Department.
That's right, just went fast.
I'll make a motion that we act on reorganization and management structure so we can keep moving forward on that.
I'll second that.
Okay, does the motion include posting the two foreman positions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, let me read it. Make a motion that we move forward on the reorganization and the management structure of Secretary of Roads and post the two foreman positions.
I will second that one.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to move forward with the reorganization and to post two road foreman positions. Just for clarification, nothing will change until structurally, until the two people have been hired for that position. The current structure, the current road foreman that's the only one will continue to do all of the duties that will be split out into two.
And foremans are non-union, correct? So this will be posted externally because it's not a union position,
It
right?
doesn't matter if it's union or non-union, they all get posted the same way because the union contract doesn't allow for bid processing.
Okay.
If there's no internal, no differentiation between the, in-house and, out of house.
What time range, do we want to give this a little bit longer, like a month or something, or, because I want to make sure we get good candidates and plenty of candidates.
It should just be standard practice that we start posting that these are going to be filled, posted until they're
filled, yes.
Not until.
Yep.
We're going to, what if we do it on the 16th and the 17th or.
Right,
start
so just say
candidates.
until filled and we'll just be patient on it, make sure we get the right candidates.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, we want to do it.
Let us know when it's posted, so we can share it out there, we got a plan. I mean, it's kind of a big position, or if we could even put it in the newspaper, just somewhere. I know Facebook and that gets pretty far, but.
Yeah, Indeed.
Yeah, put on Indeed,
one of the
like, just to
bigger-
get more people.
One of the bigger platforms like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's gonna do the job description though?
I think the one that we already have, you know, you can start there and then fine tune it, I assume.
Maybe you two work together, you and Paul, just
We can go over that when we get.
Yeah, everyone.
This week, Ben.
Yep, you guys can all do it. And then just
If we
report
need
back.
anything from Paul, I can reach out to him and get kind of what we have a look at it first, is anyway, before we go ahead and post it.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Motion's on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And now public comments.
If any of you live or drive on our secondary roads, my observation is we need to clean house from the top down in the management department. We've been trucking corn the last couple of days, and Nancy's Road, 310th Street, is washboards for 2 miles. It's quite obvious that nobody's, the road is getting graded, but it's probably not getting graded right. There's no reason for washboards for 2 miles. And I do know when we went south to Tama, and there is one place out there in front of Lance Lucina's that would break the tire off your car. It must have been dust control that got out of control. And since we didn't bring any windmill stuff up, I have a question, how, Heather probably want to answer this, how do you get out of a bid agreement?
get out of one. So when we did these development agreements, there's a clause in there, if you signed up and your property's not in, like where there'd be collection lines, turbines, anything like that, then you'd go to the wind company and they will do in good faith to let people out. But if you're already in and you signed an easement, that's between the landowner and the wind company.
I didn't sign it, I bought the farm and it came with it.
Yeah.
So when you say if you're in the collection,
Yeah, it depends if there's anything on your property. So is this in phase 1 or 2?
phase 1.
Phase 1. So we could give you probably, what would it be, Kimberly Dickey or Kimberly Dickey's phone number or email, and I'd get a hold of her. And if she says, no, there's nothing that's going through that ground, then work with her to try to get out of it. If it's there, yeah, there's a collection line through there, I don't think they can move it to the phone.
No, there's nothing.
There's nothing on it? Okay.
I just-
Yep, but I'd act fast. I can't remember, was there a timeline on that? There was some kind of, so just come up after and we can give you her phone number. I can write it down for you here.
Because I read the contract and I need to reread it again, but there's nothing in there that says this is strictly wind rates. So I'm concerned they may come later and say they want a windmill, but with the 4 houses or 5 houses right around that area, I doubt they will.
Okay.
But I just soon get out of it.
Yep, I'll write it down here. Come on up after and I'll give it to you.
Their plan has already been approved. All of the things that are in one, there's nothing gonna be moved from there. And so they wouldn't come now and put a new wind turbine on that project. or
But
on
there
that
could
property.
be future things. If, someday they want to bring solar, someday something else. I mean, yeah, if you don't want in, this is your time out if you're not currently affected by it. Yeah, anytime you buy it, it goes with the land for however many years the
It's
contract is for.
$500 a year, but that could be a bad 500
Yeah.
in the future. You never know.
Yep.
Anybody else? Jim?
I will give my 5 cents worth. This 310th Street, Ross Street, there by the daycare center. That's basically concerning everything inside the city limits, I believe. Where the 25-mile-an-hour stop, or, speed limit sign starts. Well, and if this is concerning the daycare, I think Kendall can take this to the city council or something, if we think this worthy. But why couldn't they put a speed camera sign at, west of the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit sign? Maybe on the curb where the daycare place is. That way, when people go by there, they will know if they're obeying the law or not. And it's gonna make them think that there might be a law enforcement officer black down the road. I don't know, but they will know if they are above the speed limit.
Well, this legislature outlawed the speed cameras for.
Well, I'm just saying, like we have on K Avenue.
I think you're talking about those.
I don't know what it's
The mobile
called.
ones.
The
No tip, I'm not talking about giving out tickets.
Oh,
I'm just talking about letting the driver know whether or not, what his speed is. Like that was out at Karen's place.
That would be a good solution in my opinion, but especially if you like red and blue lights.
Malcolm has one of those.
But that would slow people down without any.
Maybe not.
Question I asked and not answered, where the 150-foot, stop sign would be west of, where it is, west of county line, where would that be?
It was answered, you just didn't hear it.
Okay,
It's on Ann Street.
Ann Street.
Would that be stopped both ways, both directions? Or just coming into town? All three directions? Yeah.
Ann's already gonna start. Okay,
Cross Street, going east and west.
So one person can dictate what is done.
well, to me, it sounds like there's a stop sign going in and we get to choose where it goes.
Put it in the town. We
Right?
don't need it in the county.
Are you putting the stop signs with everybody that has to take care? I mean,
as I said at the beginning, I don't know if it's a daycare complaint, but there was a number of complaints about traffic on that road this week.
well,
That road goes all the way over to Church Street without a stop sign.
There's been,
And logically, it would sound like it could be a daycare. I don't know.
there have been complaints on that ever since I've lived on that road, which is like 49 years, but every so many years, and it's not, I'm not saying it's a daycare either, but other people, people who live along there complain, like at the football field when they're sledding,
Yeah.
it's a continuing problem.
Yep. Karen?
so on K Avenue, we discussed this a little bit, maybe not as much in here, but the normal speed of that road is more than 55 to 65 miles an hour. No, I don't want any stop signs on that road. If they want to go in a ditch rolling with rock, just let them go in the ditch rolling with rock. But to stop farmers and semis and tractors and all the rest of it, that are shifting gears, it's really hard for them and very expensive for them to keep stopping and going back through the gears. It's very expensive and difficult. And it seems like that we're getting more and more away from protection for rural farm life, more division, more conflict, more controversy between the cities and the residents, the cities and towns, and the residents out in the country. It seems like the nation is becoming more unbalanced, that the country is supposed to support the farms. The farms are supposed to support the cities and the towns and the schools. Just so unbalanced funding. There was an old saying that I was raised with this: the farmer goes, so goes the nation, or agriculture goes, so goes the nation. We're getting more and more into that all the time, not just in Tama-Toledo, and I never thought it would come here, but it's here right now, and it's been here for the last couple of years as the cities expect us to pick it all up. Roger said it, it's just driving people out, that's all it's doing. And you can put up a store for 2 years till their funding goes away. But when their funding goes away, so do they. That's all I have.
That is a farm and market road too. There is funding going to the city for that road, which we can see how they feel about us, just taking money and the age refuse, so. It's easy to get on the 4 lane and go to other places, and these towns can't see that. Tama has a bridge that seems to be special after they spent a fortune on the street just to drive. They're in the process of trying to buy this is not my observation, and I'm 65 years old, and I've seen them leave, and they just keep leaving. But I guess the daycare is more important. As I said, it needs a fence, it's not safe, but they want to put it on us. And I don't think the county should get in this. The county should leave the road the way it is, and if the city wants to do it, let the city do it. That's my opinion.
Farm to market funding, as Roger so eloquently described. If you look at Ross Street, we paved a portion of that. It took the farm to market account 5 years to save enough money to pave that portion. The next portion is being saved right now to pave some more. It's not gonna all be paved at the same time. We get the same amount as the county has for farm to market. There's like, I think there's 5 total streets in the county and the town that qualify. That's the most traffic. That's the one that we're working on right now. If Roger wants to contribute money to that farm to market account to pay that quicker, we'll be more than happy to take the money and pay it.
It's already paved. I mean,
If you already paid it, you just stated it was kind of getting rough. So
you're getting money.
that's what that money is going towards. We have to save that money to make a big enough project to make it worth somebody coming in and bid that project. What are you talking about?
I understand.
310th Street?
Yeah.
I don't.
Get on further.
We're gonna eventually go further to the east, but we have to save money to do that. And we save money in that farm to market account. That's the only place that money can be spent.
Yes.
That's the only place that money is saved. It's right there in that account. You can call the city clerk's office, they can tell you how much money is in there. And we're just going to apply to do it.
No, I understand that, but you are collecting money, right? You just said you're collecting money.
Yeah.
But it's rough.
Yeah, but you gotta collect enough to make it a good.
I understand that.
Well, all of this come about because there was a request to put up a stop sign.
This is a stop sign.
It's not gonna cost us any money.
I'm sorry.
It's not gonna cost us any money. Here's what we need to get away from, the us versus them mentality that we all have. This is all Tama County. The city of Toledo, the city of Tama, the city of Trier, the city of Dysart, the city of Garwin, Gladbrook, these are all cities that butt up to small communities. If we all fight and have all this infighting over something that is so trivial, we're all going to drown. We have to learn to get together and get along. This wasn't that controversial of a request, I didn't think, but I think that we need to stop looking out for just what benefits me and look at what benefits all.
I'm going to speak as myself. I grew up on Ross Street, right at the bottom of the 2 hills. And let me tell you, the cars do fly through there, and I'm not saying the farmers. It is, like Mark's saying, though, we need to look at each other. And what I would say, honestly, like you said, it sounds like what Kendall's saying. You can either have it at Ann Street, or you can have it at K. If you have 2 semis coming up there and you have it at Ann Street, pretty soon you're gonna have them stopping on the hill, trying to get going up the hill. If you move it on over to K, you've got more room. If you have multiple vehicles coming, that your farm equipment, you're gonna have more room for them to stop before they're having to try and go up that hill. I mean, I'm not good at how long your farm equipment is, the semis and all of that, but I do know that that's gonna be a lot harder if they end up stopping on that hill right there by Brent Heron's house and trying to go up from there because there's too much traffic stopping.
Ann Street's on the flat there.
Right, but how many semis before you're on the hill? When you get a lot of truck traffic and farm traffic going through there, there can be a line of them at a time. And I'm just thinking it's gonna be a lot harder if you end up having to stop on that incline than if you are starting at K. It's less likely they're going to be backed up all the way to the hill.
But what I'm saying, Ann Street is the first street after you get in town.
Right,
That's where my wife grew up, is on Ann Street. That's flat.
yes.
The one you're on is, I don't know what street that is.
Ross. I'm on
No,
Ross.
but,
So you're coming up that hill.
Aaron, that's a different street.
No, he lives on the corner of Ross and Willow.
Yeah, he said Ann Street.
Right, but what I'm saying is if you stop them at Ann, How
That's,
much equipment before that somebody is stopped on that hillside because of the stop sign at Ann Street? That's what I'm looking at.
well, there's not much anymore. But there will be because they've got the bridge closed on.
Like Joe said, this has been a problem my entire life. The speeds through Ross Street there, and like I said, I'm not saying it's,
Well, I mean,
but it is.
it has speeding, don't they?
No, no, growing up on Ross Street, trust me, we're not talking just a little bit of speeding. It's a lot. And they go at very high rates of speed. And it was probably really noticeable because like I said, we're at the bottom of the two hills. It's dangerous because people fly over and they're coming in at such rates of speed that if you're pulling out even there at Willow Street, there's no time if somebody comes flying in to react. And I grew up, my grandparents grew up I grew up across the street from them. So crossing the street there was common, and you learn really quickly that you gotta be very careful because of the speeds that people travel on Ross Street.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back next week. I think that's what the plan is for right now. Karen, you already spoke once.
So everybody else is discussing, why are you cutting me off?
Are you going to bring up another topic? I was going to close public comments.
No kidding, right?
Jacob?
Morning. Just want to bring up the RN cutover. Can we, going forward, if there's any other changes, be a little bit more transparent with the timelines on that stuff? The whole county's been without first responder secondary paging all weekend because we got an email Friday saying, hey, this is going to happen in a couple hours. And it took out our mail server to send all our paging to our first responders for the secondary. The primary is working, but they all have invested in apps. Some of them have paid for it, some have not. We haven't been able to get pages out to anybody. Tama, they paid for some equipment to be put on our server to send report data straight to them from our CAD system. That has not been working. Just having a better timeline and knowledge of that would be a lot more helpful going forward so we can better prepare for this stuff because we're at the mercy of our IT vendor right now. And I told them this is an escalated issue and we're still dead.
You talking about CSS?
Yeah.
Did you talk?
And every time we're having to pay them more, which I don't have. So just a heads up, further ahead would be nice going forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other agenda items? I think we've covered everything. We'll close public comments. We'll adjourn at 9:48.
Okay.